morning, KW Colorado. Welcome to our August 2024 regional rally. My name is Russ Nolting. I'm your regional director, and I'm joined by Kelly Sutter, our regional ops manager, Jenny Schlip, our regional MCA, and I see Leslie. Hi, Leslie, our regional tech trainer. Today's agenda, we've got some opening announcements and some upcoming events. Leslie's going to do a quick tech update. We're going to do some recognition for top individuals, teams, and groups and expansion teams, a short market update with Cato Mitchell. And then our guest today is Gretchen Kingma. She's going to talk about 10 tips to reach your niche on social media. And I'm super excited about this. Let's dive into announcements. On Friday, you should have received an email from bounce2@kw.com with our NAR settlement resources. These, you can access those documents using the QR code on the screen. The resources that were sent to you include a NAR settlement simplified one sheet, some facts for sellers, answers to FAQs, and some agent perspective interviews. You can also find these documents at thrive.kw.com. And KW agents on the call, this is a non-password protected site. You can send this to your friends at other companies. You will see an explanation of the settlement. You'll see a recording of the open house that we did back in June discussing the settlement. And you'll also see a series of interviews with tons of different perspectives as to how top agents in our markets all across the country are interacting with this issue. So finally, at the bottom, you'll see the buyer's agent panel from MegaCamp, which was an outstanding panel. You'll see Phil Jones, a curated video of his keynote address at MegaCamp with exactly what to say about the settlement. You'll see some one-page plays that we've put together that show you how to share your value with your clients, and then a number of other resources, including our podcasts and other things like that. So thrive.kw.com/agent resources. Send this to your friends at other companies that may be wondering how they're going to deal with the settlement, and enjoy. The Rocky Mountain Summit is September 26th and 27th with a luxury summit on the 25th. Registration is open for these events. John Maxwell is going to be our keynote at the summit. Ken Posick's going to be talking about how to build your presence on YouTube. James Shaw is going to be talking about how to thrive in a shifting market. Abe Shreves is going to talk about mindset. Liz Landry will be there to talk about talent. Ruben Gonzalez, the Chief Economic Officer at KWRI, will be doing a national and local economic update. Brady Sandall will be talking about luxury. Brandy Lubker, Steve Epstein, Sandra Rathey, they'll be on luxury panels. They're from other parts of the country. Don't miss the Rocky Mountain Summit. The hotel room is the Hyatt is close to being sold out, and we'll open up space at nearby hotels when we get there. But if you want to be at the actual event hotel, sign up today. The region is hosting our annual business planning clinic at the PPA Center in Denver. It's $129. It's October 18th, which is a Friday, 9 to 4. Gene Rivers, who I think has been a KWU master faculty member longer than anyone, is going to be doing the business planning clinic. Don't miss this. These are the events that we've had this year. And as a little precursor to November, ALC Clinic with James Shaw will be in Denver at the Ritz-Carlton. November 22nd is a Friday. If you wrote down last month, the date, change it because the Ritz changed our date on us, and yet we're still having it there at the on the 22nd. All of our events can be registered for at kwcoloradoevents.com, and you can choose to subscribe to that channel so that you are notified first when we add things. I want to say thanks to our sponsors for the region this year: Principal Title and Escrow Services, Growth Minded Talent Solutions, Top Flight Financial Inc., and the coordinator team. Today, we have a special guest, Cindy Bittner from Principal Title and Escrow Services. Is Cindy here? There she is. Cindy, take it away. You must unmute yourself.
I apologize. Good morning. Hi, I'm Cindy. I'm with Principal Title. We are a company that is, I consider us a Colorado-based company. We operate in all 64 counties. The benefit that we have with being able to do all 64 counties effectively is that I have a very experienced team of professionals with my escrow team. There's 100 years just about between the 5 of us. We do all of our closings are set up to be handled either in an office or at your location. We use only secured sites. We have a proprietary software that we use. We do run all of our sellers through AI verification because we do handle a lot of land and commercial transactions. And I would love to see any of you visit with us, talk to me about doing business with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cindy, and thank you for your sponsorship for the region.
Yeah.
I'm going to hand it over to Leslie now. She's going to give us a tech update.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. Happy Sunday. I have a tech update for you, but before I do, this Thursday at 11 a.m., come join me. I'm going to dive into smart plans and teach you how to master it, teach you to learn the basics, and also keep it simple for you and your database so that we can close out the year nice and strong, right? And then August 29th, I'm going to also dive in to show you how to really utilize the KW Home Search app so that you could stay top of mind with your clients. Next slide. All right. As usual, we always place all of these calls and, of course, my classes every Thursday up on our KW Colorado regional channel. Go check that out. All right. So a few updates for you all today. One update is that inside your contacts, you can send a bulk email. If you have not tried this, no, this is new. And we have also included merge tags. And merge tags, for those of you who may not know what that means we are merging information in so that we can individualize these emails, even though we're sending them by bulk. So that is a new update. Go check it out today. It'll simplify your life and also takes away the creation of a one-off smart plan too. So very fun. And the other thing that I want to call out today too is that we have even more artificial intelligence built into Command. If you haven't tried it, go try it out today. It's amazing. For anybody who's even looking to, let's say, hold a nice, successful open house, you can ask Quick this. And Quick is our AI that is built inside Command. It is a really sweet, small star asterisk at the bottom right-hand corner inside Command when you first log in. So go and check it out. Ask Quick to do something for you. Maybe even writing a Facebook post for you, and you know that you need to put that content up today. And I'm sure you're going to hear a lot about content and social media from our guest speaker. So this really alleviates time and helps you get the answers that you need. Next slide. Awesome. One quick update that was released last week. We have added a transparent header inside the expert mode when you go and edit your amazing agent sites. So go check that out. You'll see this demonstration here down below where if we were to toggle it on, that dark banner will disappear and you will see that transparent banner appear. Simple and also very nice. And I believe that is it. For me, Russ. Yes, it is. Thanks, everyone.
That's it. Thank you, Leslie. All right. Now to some agent recognition, our top individuals, and this is based on July transmittal, so just July. With Closed units, top individuals, that means one person in production. Jody Bahena from downtown Colorado Springs is in 5th place, tied with Sheila Bailey from Denver West. In 4th place, a tie, Brooke Gagnon, Brandon Angel, and Jackie Parr. 3rd place, Faith Young, tied with Carrie George. 2nd place, Lauren Wilson from Denver Central, and top spot, Jackie Stratton. Congratulations on closed units. Moving on to volume, whoops, screen. In 10th place, Matthew Ferguson from Southwest Colorado. 9th place, Brandon Angel from Pueblo. James Hightower from Denver Tech Center in 8th place. Sheila in 7th place from Denver West. 6th place is Carrie George from Summit County. 5th place, Lauren Wilson from Denver Central. And Sally from Foothills is in 4th place. Top 3 for closed volume, Jackie Stratton, Dan Egan, and Brooke Gagnon. Congratulations, individuals, on volume. Moving to GCI, Mary Roth is in 10th place for July, Matthew Ferguson in 9th, Carrie George in 8th, Victoria Merchant in 7th, 6th place, James Hightower, 5th place, Lauren Wilson, 4th place, Sally Ball from Foothills, and our top 3 for GCI are Jackie Stratton, Dan Egan, and Brooke from Vail with $262,993. Wow, amazing. Let's move to teams. Teams are 2 people in production. 5th place is a tie from the Vincent Group closed units and the Phillips team. 4th place, Next Move, Rocky Mountains, Denver North. Top 3, Seed Property Group from DTC, High Cap Homes from Denver Downtown, and number 1 from Northern Colorado is the JK Team LLC. Moving on to closed volume. 10th place, Next Move, Rocky Mountains, Denver North. The Dolph Team, congratulations, Jody. Number 8, Unity Group, Denver Tech Center. Number 7, the Vincent Group from Castle Rock Parker. High Cap Homes was number 6, JK Team number 5. Number 4 was the Quintera Team from Client's Choice, and the top 3 are Seed Property Group, the Brunner Bunch, and Phillips Team Foothills at number 1. Congratulations, teams, on your volume. Moving to GCI, Unity Group, number 10, the Dolph Team, number 9, Next Move, Rocky Mountains, Denver North, number 8, number 7, JK Team from Northern Colorado, number 6, the Vincent Group, number 5, High Cap Homes. The Quintera Team is number 4, and our top 3 for GCI, the Brunner Bunch, Seed Property Group, and Phillips Team Foothills took number 1. Groups are 3+ licensed agents. Number 10 for closed units, Relevate, tied with Lux Home Group. Number 9, Dixon Group. Number 8, the Awaka Group, tied with June's Team, tied with the Pena Team, tied with PCS Pro. Number 7, Homes of Colorado Group. Number 6, the Tiffany Home Group Team. Number 5, Jamie Baker Orr, tied with the Phoenix, tied with Towner Group. And number 4, the Lucic Group. Top 3 for closed units, Colorado Lifestyle Real Estate Group, the Johnson Team number 2, and EHP number 1. Congratulations, groups. Volume, the Towner Group from Grand Junction, number 10, the Thompson Group, number 9, the Tiffany Home Team, number 8, and Power Home Team, Colorado Front Range, number 7. Number 6 is the Dixon Group from Aurora. Number 5, the Lucic Group from Client's Choice. Number 4, the Phoenix from Denver West. And our top 3 closed volume, the Johnson Team, number 3, Colorado Lifestyle Real Estate Group, number 2, and Elite Home Partners, number 1. Congratulations. Moving to GCI, June's Team from Longmont was number 10, the Tiffany Home Team, number 9, Towner Group, number 8, the Dixon Group, number 7, number 6 was Lucic Group, number 5, and Power Home Team, Colorado Front Range. Number 4, the Johnson Team, and our top 3 GCI, and these are some amazing numbers. The Phoenix at $299,960, Colorado Lifestyle Real Estate Group from Denver Tech Center with $380,603, and EHP with $521,247. Awesome job, groups. Expansion with Hudson, Colorado. Number 3 for closed units was the Phoenix. Number 2 with 22 units, Relevate, and number 1, Homes of Expansion Network. Volume, Homes of Expansion Network was number 3, Relevate number 2, the Phoenix was number 1, and GCI number 3, Homes of Expansion Network, number 2, Relevate, number 1, the Phoenix. Congratulations, expansion groups hubbed in Colorado. And congratulations to everyone. Great job. Moving to market centers quickly. Closed volume market centers. Denver Central, 51 million was number 5. Client's Choice, 55 million, number 4. Top 3 partners with 61 million. Denver Downtown with 84 million and DTC 120 million. Awesome job. Units. Number 5, Grand Junction with 92. Number 4, Client's Choice with 98. Top 3 partners with 138. Denver Downtown 184 and Denver Tech Center 188. Listings taken. Denver Downtown had 107. Denver Tech Center 134. Top 3, Pueblo 146. Client's Choice 185 and KW Partners 273 listings taken. Awesome job. Turning it to Cato. Cato, you ready?
Yeah. Can I share my slide, please?
Please do.
There we go. All right. Hello, everybody. Let's see. Can you see it, Russ?
Yeah, we're good, Cato.
Okay. So it's been a pretty interesting couple of months here. We are seeing CPI come down some. It is still pretty high. What that means is it's still stretching American, and especially for us, Colorado families a little tighter than we'd like to see for them to be able to expand their real estate dreams. When we look, Colorado is actually doing better than the rest of the country on much of it. So that does tend to help our real estate market as we're moving forward. I did send Kelly the slides if you want to take a look so you look in more detail. Unemployment went up to 4.3% last month. A little bit of that had to do with the hurricane. They're also stating now they think that was understated. So we're probably sitting right around there as a real number, maybe even slightly higher. Again, we really want to see unemployment move up a little more steadily toward the 6% mark. Oops, sorry. And the issue that we have right now is with unemployment being so low, we still have a very low savings rate for the average American. To put this in perspective, during Jimmy Carter's administration, which was considered one of the worst times in modern American history, our savings rate was about 10.8%. During the Great Recession of 2008 through 12, it was around 6%. Right now, for the last 12 months, we've been averaging 3.4%. So inflation is really starting to affect people, and we're starting to see that it is causing some issues. This is not good or bad. It is simply something for you to understand that this is where your clients are at. So start having some very serious conversations with them so that you can help them navigate this as the market shifts. With the rate drop lately, we are seeing the mortgage applications go up pretty dramatically. And you can see that by some of the volume and GCI that we just saw that Russ talked about. Again, rates have dropped a little bit, not significantly. There is talk about the Fed dropping the rates somewhat at the next meeting. The likelihood, I'm going to say, is probably only 50% because they still have a lot of other factors to count in that could cause inflation to skyrocket again if they do that. If you remember from the last few months, rates have been sitting right around 7.5. Now, they did dip down a little bit more as of this morning. In Colorado, we're averaging right around 7.24. So they've gone back a little bit, but they're not bad. In a minute, I'm going to show you why it's a great time for your buyers to buy. And please, folks, utilize these slides. Take them to your listing appointment, do whatever you want with them. There's no trademark on these. But if we look at the longer term normality, it was 7.74% for the historical average from 1972 to 23. We're at 7.244. So we're right in between the historical average from 1990 to 23 and the 72 to 23. So we're actually sitting in what would be considered a normal mortgage market right now. That being said, let's talk about affordability for a minute. That red line is where we say things become unaffordable. So when I listen to my agents, they say, well, people are waiting for rates to come down. This is one of the charts I tell them to go show their people, because we want them to know that we are almost to the level that we were in October of 23. So we've actually come down close to what we were a year ago. This would be a very good time to go out and buy. On top of that, I keep hearing people say, well, my client told me they want to see what happens with the election. So I put this chart together so that you guys could kind of understand how presidents affect housing market. This is the median sales home price of homes. There is not one administration here, not one, Democrat or Republican, where when they got in to when they got out, value dropped. And this is a very powerful thing to use with your clients to say, listen, I don't care who gets in. That doesn't affect your real estate price. Let's talk about what we need to do for your life. Let's talk about why we need to list this to help you move forward. So just please look at that when you get a chance and figure out how you can put that into your listing presentation. Because yes, part of the cycle in an election year is that people get nervous. Well, this shows right here, going all the way back to 1963, that there's nothing for them to be nervous about when it comes to purchasing a home during an election cycle. Case-Shiller is doing exactly what we expected it to. Like I told you a couple months ago, it came up above the line. It's kind of bouncing there right now. We do expect in Q3 and Q4 of this year, I should say toward the end of Q3 and all of Q4, that it will dip below the line again. That has more to do with our seasonality than anything right now. However, the slightly higher rates and the inflation is definitely not helping that. That's part of what is also causing us to have a market that is shifting from a very strong seller's market into a buyer's market over the next 6 to 8 months. What I want to show you on the dot plot is that compared to where we were March of last year, we're down. And then when we look at March of this year, we're higher. And what that means is it's relative that the presidents of the Fed, the governors of the Fed have cooled off their view on how our recovery is going. They are now starting to get more realistic and just saying, hey, this is going to take a little bit longer than we thought. So the likelihood is that rates, while they will drop, they may not drop as quickly as was first predicted, about a year ago. So just something to keep in mind, that we're in what's pretty much going to be the new normal, or the next normal, of rates moving forward. A couple interesting things. We had a higher median sales price April, May, and June, and it did drop a little bit in July. Now, that has more to do with the number of homes on the market, because we're now surpassed 10,500 homes on the market. And I want you to see that our days on market is going up as well. We have 2.66 months on the market. When we hit 6 months, we are technically a balanced market. So we are expecting that basically sometime around January or February next year, we will hit the balance mark, and very likely in the spring, we may end up actually being a buyer's market. Obviously, my crystal ball is broken like everyone else's, but it is just something to keep in mind. So if you have sellers on the fence, get them listed now so that they are in a better place than they will be in the spring. Because if they wait till spring, the likelihood is they will see a pricing drop. And again, this slide will help them understand that competition breeds price drops. That being said, make sure when you guys are going in, and I apologize, I know not everybody uses RE Colorado, but one of the things I wanted to point out is if you look at price decreases, anytime you see more price decreases than you see new listings or closed properties, you know that the market is in a major shift. So go in, take a look at this every day, see what's going on. This is going to help you a lot when it comes to pricing your properties. and start looking at this in the particular neighborhoods that you're in when you're doing your market analysis. It's going to help you stay ahead of the market, because I want you to think about going back to Shift, page 138, where they talk about you can be on the market but not in the market. That is exactly where we're heading right now on that piece. So we have a lot of people that are very interested in real estate. We have people on the sidelines. We need to educate them to get them going now before the market shifts further. Okay, price cut percent. This is the percent of homes on the market that reduced from their initial list price month over month. And in Colorado, we're at 34.9. So we're seeing some dramatic shifts here. Part of this is that realtors are overpricing homes trying to get the listing and not educating their clients. We're also seeing a huge increase in expireds. So if you call expireds, please do it in a TCPA compliant way, but that is a great area to be calling right now. Mortgage homes percentage. Colorado has become so expensive that we've broken the mark and we're above 69% now. And what that means is the homes are more expensive, so cash is not typical, and more people let me back up. A number of people who own their homes outright have now gone and gotten HELOCs or other loans to help pay down other credit lines and other debt service. So we're watching our mortgage percentages go up rather than down in this state. And that is something just to keep an eye on to help your clients out. Overvalue based on the percentage of local median income. What I really want you to see is what is going on with the entire United States. We only have 3 states where we are not overvalued. So you're going to see a lot of shift in the market. And this is what the Fed's going to be talking about when they're talking about why we need to drop rates as it pertains to the real estate market. Obviously, the Fed's fund rate is not directly tied to the real estate market, but it does play a role in where that goes. Looking at the month over month, we're not seeing any major shifts in this. We're definitely seeing more listings come on a longer days on market, so more aggressive marketing is definitely needed. I'm going to tell you right now, the number one thing that we're hearing buyers say is they can't believe that realtors are still using their phones to take photos. Please be a professional. Please fill out everything you can, have the best photos in there, because we're going into the beauty pageant age. And what I mean by that is if there are 2 properties and they're identical, except that one is prettier, the prettier one will sell faster. So make sure that you're talking to your people about what they need to do to make their property really stand out. Looks like Gary was just about right. We do expect to hit right around 4.3 million sales this year, which basically means it is structural within people's lives of when they're moving, meaning when a baby is born, when someone dies, kids went off to college, things like that. People are not buying excess number of homes. So we will be a little bit down. We are expecting 25 and 26 to probably hover around this range too. So double down on your marketing and your prospecting to make sure you're getting your unfair share. I've had a lot of people ask me how the NAR settlement affects our real estate market moving forward in Colorado. Here's something I really want you to understand. For the most part, there weren't many changes in how we practice in Colorado with the NAR settlement. Most of what we did was in compliance. If you've done the red line classes moving forward outside of changing commission to compensation and what we inserted in section 29, we didn't have to change a lot. There are a lot of states where the entire earth just broke open before them. Colorado is very much in a great place with this NAR settlement because we had most of this in place already. So the sky's not falling, nothing's changed. Let's go out there and help as many families as we can. The agents that are going to make it really well during this whole phase of the NAR settlement are the people who are doing the highest service and taking care of their clients. It does not mean taking a lower commission. It means raising your level of service. At the end of the day, our purpose as realtors is to get the deal closed and help people move forward with their lives. So to that effect, Obviously continue your marketing, continue your prospecting. Rocky Mountain Summit's going to have a great lineup for you. No, Russ did not ask me to say that, but yes, Russ, I'll take my $5 later. Make sure that, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to change it from Memorial Day weekend. My apologies. Make sure that you're doing as many open houses as you can. Our agents are just killing it with those. And make sure you're putting some money aside because, again, as that market turns to a buyer's market, it will be a great time to invest. So start talking to your clients now about stockpiling some money. So when we hit that January, February, they can go out, they can buy more rentals, they can buy second homes, things like that, which will definitely benefit you as their agent. But make sure that you are giving them the absolute utmost white glove service because that will be what determines who the winners and losers are on the real estate side. Russ, back to you.
Right. Thank you, Cato. All right. So we're going to turn now to Gretchen Kingma. Do you see her, Kelly? Oh, there she is.
I'm here.
Gretchen, I'm going to hand it over to her. Gretchen is an awesome agent out of St. Louis, Missouri. Gretchen, take it away.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen here. Let me know if you can see that.
We can see it.
Sweet. How do we do the presentation mode?
It says present up there on the.
Yeah, my face was in the way. I found it. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you guys. Can everybody see my slides? And do they move when I hit the button?
They are not moving.
All right. How about now?
No. We still
What
see
the heck?
your, like maybe your back end. Maybe it's the wrong window.
Let's stop share and then share my whole desktop instead of just. Ta-da!
There we go.
Test. Okay, I'm Gretchen Kingma, and I help seniors answer the question, where the heck do I go next? Marrying healthcare and real estate, I educate and equip seniors and their families so that they can be empowered to experience productive aging on their own terms. And that is an example of a position statement that has taken me many years to build, and I don't understand why, but once I did, I hit a stride and my business is up 102% year over year. And so I'm here to share how the heck I get that message across on social media. So I commit to you to giving you 10 tips to reach your niche on social. Elephant in the room, I don't know if it's niche or niche, but niche rhymes with reach, so we're going to go with niche for today's conversation. And at the end of the conversation, because I have gotten on so many trainings where I don't know the person from Adam and maybe I scoot out, I am going to be giving away an Amazon gift card at the end of my slides if you do these things. Follow me on Instagram and tag me. Just take a picture and say learning from @Gretchen Kingma. And I'm just going to randomly pick somebody at the end of this presentation and give away a gift card. So who the heck am I? I am a wife, a mom of two, an occupational therapist, certified aging in place specialist, and I have an executive certificate of home modification, which is just a fancy title that I got from my education at University of Southern California. But all of those things tie into my niche and what I am doing on social media. Of course, I'm also a realtor, and I used to be under Russ's leadership, and we are so jealous that you have him now. So congratulations on a great leader. How did I get started in real estate and building a niche in general? So I will spare you the super long story because I don't want to take too much of your time. But the short version is that by background, I'm an occupational therapist. If you don't know what that is, it is very similar to a physical therapist. It's an allied health profession that serves people after a major life change. So it can be anything from a cancer diagnosis to a car accident to a brain injury, stroke, etc. And I worked in a hospital and a senior living community for my clinical career. It was around the time that I was going on maternity leave. My child just turned 7. So 7 years ago, I was going on maternity leave and realized that I was responsible for over 100 patients. And I had 4 CODAs, occupational therapy assistants, under me. And I thought, what in the world? This is not ethical, and I'm not making a change in anybody's life.
So I told my therapy director, see you in 12 weeks, went home and told my husband, I am never going back there. We have 12 weeks to figure it out. And that's when I got into real estate. And the reason was because I saw so many families struggle with the housing piece as their loved one got older. And I also saw so many repeat offenders, if we can call them that, people who would be as independent as possible when they would discharge from therapy, but they would end right back up in the hospital, maybe 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 years down the road. So I thought, if my job is to keep people happy, healthy, and thriving at home, why are more people not looking at home as a proactive solution? And I had a realtor. My husband and I had just bought our first house and our realtor really sucked. And I thought, well, if this chick can make a living doing this, surely I can too. So that's how I got into this. And I share that to let you know, I knew that I wanted to serve seniors and people with disabilities when I got into this space. And for some reason, it took me a good 5 years and a major personal life event in order to actually go all in on that thing. Since I did, my business is up. And again, like I mentioned, I want the same for you. So why is it so important to niche down? Well, I just heard your expert talk about the NAR settlement and setting yourself apart. That's the foremost reason to be an expert. But I have some other bullet points here. Number one, authority. When you have authority on one topic, it creates a lot of trust and credibility. And we know as realtors, people buy and sell with people that they trust and that they know the market. Number two, targeted marketing. When you niche down and know who your ideal client is, who you want to work for, goal setting around targeted marketing becomes so much easier. I know we're about to be into goal planning season, business planning season. And if you know exactly who you want to serve, that economic model becomes so much easier because you can build out your whole year around that one person. Competition or competitive advantage is what I'm trying to say. How many times have you been to a networking event where they give you your 30 seconds, you get to say who you are, the realtor right next to you goes before you and they're like, I'm Sally. I love helping all people. I just love helping people with real estate. It's so important. And I've sold 10 homes this year, blah, 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 blah. And then you get up and you say, I'm Gretchen Kingma. I help seniors answer the question, where do they go next? I'm very passionate about education so that families can be equipped to allow their senior to age on their own terms. There's a difference, and that's because I'm super clear on who my ideal client is. So don't be the Sally in your market. Go out and build that, know who you're talking to so you can have that unique selling proposition. And then higher profit margins. Why is that? Well, when you niche down, you become an expert, and all of you have a higher copay at your dermatologist than you do at your generalist because it's a specialist. So when you position yourself as a specialist, you don't have to argue about commission and what they're going to pay you because you have that unique value proposition. And then focus growth. With a clear niche, your business growth strategies, I kind of already hit on this one, but your strategies come a lot easier. Your marketing plan comes a lot easier because you're not trying to hit it all. You know exactly who you're after, who you want to serve, and who that ideal client is. So I added this over here, a statistic from Social Pilot, which gave me a ton of hope. Tell me in the chat, how many of you have less than 10,000 followers on any of your social media platforms? Say yes if this is you. And if it is you, you should find great encouragement because there was a research study recently that showed that accounts that had 10,000 followers or fewer actually had way more engagement than the accounts that had over 10,000 followers. So that should bring all of you a little bit of excitement to go out and be active on social media, because when you have a clear message and a clear target audience with a smaller audience, you're going to get much higher engagement. Any questions so far? I know I'm talking a mile a minute. So if you don't hear anything else from today's presentation, just hear this. This is like the way to simplify it. Figure out what fuels your joy and then do lots of that. And this is from Bob Goff, one of my favorite authors, but it is a very, so we make social media so complex, and what platform should I be on and what do I say and blah, blah, blah. So just go find the people that bring you joy and talk to them more is my big take home message. And if you'll allow me, I'll give you a very quick story. I'm going to show on the next slide where I was in the past when I wasn't practicing these methods and where I am today. But I mentioned I got into real estate knowing that I wanted to serve people in health crises or aging, experiencing aging. And then in 2020, I'd been in real estate for 3 years. My dad was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And so here I am having to help my own family downsize, buy a house that will work for somebody who's going to have weakness, poor balance, etc. And not only help them find the place, it was out of pure necessity. There was no planning ahead. It was, oh crap, dad can't go up the stairs. We have to find a house today. And so I don't know what is happening. So with that, I learned quickly through that experience that, did my share go away? My screen is going crazy. Okay, are we good?
You're back.
There we go. So with that personal experience, it was a 2-year decline of my father, and he eventually passed away in 2022, the end of 2022, right before 2023. I realized that my niche is me. It's people that are my past self. And no offense to the men on the call, but my avatar, getting even more specific on the niche, was going to be the sandwich generation, and a lot of times the eldest daughter in a family. So the firstborn daughter is my avatar. So breaking that down, if you think of a person holding an umbrella, a niche is your overall umbrella, a segment of the market. So seniors and people with disabilities is a massive segment, but the avatar is the 30 to 40-year-old female that works, has kids, but is also in charge of managing her parents' aging situation because she's the oldest adult daughter. So that's my avatar. Do you see how we went from umbrella to avatar? Another example to pivot out of myself, I helped a gentleman locally. He's a mortgage lender, 26, 27, young guy. He tells me he wants to help all of his buddies buy their move up home. And so I had to work with him and ask a ton of questions. And we arrived that his avatar is going to be a 30-something male that's rising the corporate ladder at his job, that wants to provide for his family and maybe just had his first, second child. So when you're making a message for somebody like that versus a move up buyer, do you see how much more specific you can go and how much deeper it can go? So that is the difference between niche and avatar. And this is a screenshot from my Instagram, actually at my parents' house on their back deck that we built to be completely accessible for my dad as he declined. And all it was is POV, which stands for point of view. You were your parents, your own parents were your downsizing clients, and you reap the benefits daily. And in the background, you can't see it, but if you go to my Instagram, you can watch the reel, is my kids running to the pool. So that speaks to the sandwich generation of people with downsizing parents. So I'm not finding my senior clients, to be very clear, on Instagram. So what you all came for, the 10 tactical tips. And on some of these, we're going to go much deeper than others. But number one, get super clear on your avatar. Who are you speaking to? It sounds so simple, but I do have a free workbook. If you want to go a step further and message me on Instagram, I will send you my Niche Navigator workbook. It just helps you arrive at who you're talking to. But we've already talked about why it is so important to talk clearly to that person, because you've all heard, or maybe you haven't heard the saying, if you speak to everyone, you sell to none. If you speak to one, you'll sell to many. So that is why it's so important to speak to one audience. Number two, create solution-driven content to solve a problem. You all have seen your colleagues, and maybe you're guilty of it. I have been guilty of it as well, post fear-mongering content lately with all the changes. That does not sit well with a consumer, and they will be able to see right through that. So instead of sell all your Airbnbs right now because the Airbnb market is tanking in every vacation rental market, create content that shows how to increase value in your Airbnb, or how make your Airbnb accessible so you can bring grandma and grandpa. Create solution-driven content. Don't focus on a problem. Number 3, use hashtags strategically. In case you don't know what a hashtag is, just to bring us back a little bit, it is the pound sign on your keyboard, and you put them at the end of the post to operate kind of like a phone book or a search mechanism. So if you are using things that you made up, hashtag OT Realtor, that's a vulnerable moment. That's what I used to use all the time. And then I realized when I click on that hashtag, it's only my post. Nobody's searching that because it's a fake thing. So make sure that you're strategic with your hashtags. And another free little tip, if you don't use the app Boards, download Boards. It is a keyboard app where you can save things that you're sending all the time. Save your hashtags in there so that you can post them every time you make a post. Actually, Instagram themselves just posted an article like 3 weeks ago that posts that have about 3 to 5 hashtags perform better. So don't add 37 hashtags either. Number 4, we're going to camp out here because it is so important. And I want to be able to add value to those of you that don't just use Instagram. So engage consistently, be social. The number one problem I see on all people, not all, a lot of people's social media is that they use it as a billboard. They don't use it as a database. And what I mean by that is you'll just throw stuff up there and expect people to come to you, but they're acting just like they do when they're driving down the highway because you're not engaging in their content. You're not engaging in other people's content, and there's no call to action on what you're posting. So it merely looks like a billboard. And so I'm going to give you just a quick rundown of an analogy I like to use in the different platforms, and maybe it will help you resonate with one more than another. But we've all been to a wedding shower where you're celebrating a couple that's about to get married. And maybe Great Aunt Betsy is hosting that wedding shower. When you walk up to Great Aunt Betsy's door, you knock on the door and she opens it. That's going to be the most formal conversation you had at the whole party. That's LinkedIn. So the conversation with Great Aunt Betsy, the first impression conversation, thank you for welcoming me into your home. That's the formal content. That conversation should live on LinkedIn. Then you get into the kitchen where your friend's parents or the parents of the bride, whatever age you are, the parents of the bride and groom are congregated and they're having light appetizers, but they're not drinking and having a blast. They're just socially talking. That's Facebook. A little bit older of a generation, but more casual conversation, catching up, keeping you updated on all the things, but not a deep dive into the personal. Then you go outside to the cocktail party where people are getting beers, wine out of the cooler, and that's Instagram, the cocktail party, where it's very social. It would be very awkward if you just read people's Instagram posts all day and you didn't engage in it, the same way if you showed up to a cocktail party and sat in the corner and didn't talk to anybody. So that's what you should think about for Instagram. And then there's the kids that stay way past the time of the party ending, and that is TikTok, and I'm not on TikTok, so I can't really speak much to that because I'm a grand millennial and I just don't understand TikTok. But those are the late nighters that are very informal and anything goes on that platform. So that should help you understand what type of content you are posting on what platform. But the big takeaway is you must use social media to be social, not just to post things. Number 5, story sell, not just an actual story like I just told you about my dad who declined of cancer, but your actual Instagram stories or your Facebook stories. That's where you should be doing the bulk of your selling. When you're telling about people or when you're telling people about your newly listed, that should go in stories, not a post. When you're telling people about just closed, when you're screaming from the rooftop about the transactions you're doing, put those in stories because the stories are what sell. And I would challenge you to not just post a picture from the title company, but actually tell us a story about the closing. Maybe your first time home buyer just bought a home that was only ever in one family. And you could talk about if walls could talk, this grandma wallpaper, blah, 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 blah. You get the point, but tell a story. Don't just stand in a title company and say just close, because nobody wants to see that. They want to hear about the transaction. And then Reels and Post, which stays on your feed, both in Facebook and Instagram, that is where you add value and build trust. So don't tell us about your just closed listing on your reels and post. Instead, take the slides from the gentleman that spoke before me and talk about what the market is doing. Make a post about, did you know that no president has actually dictated the real estate market? Do you believe it or not? Ask a question so that people, and people will, because it's the most polarizing topic right now, so that they'll engage with your post. But those 5 and 6 points, stories are for selling, reels and posts are where you add value and build trust, because it acts kind of like a web page. When somebody comes to check out your page, if they see you selling on all your posts, they are not going to resonate with you. If they see valuable education, it's going to make a little bit more of an impact. Authenticity is key. If you can't tell, I'm a rather authentic person, but keep it real. Don't use filters. You're all beautiful human beings. We don't need to use filters. Don't edit videos a million times. The things that have taken off for me on my social media is the crap that I'm like a little bit embarrassed. I deep breathely and then press post. Like, I can't believe how much stuff takes off that is not polished. And that's okay, because people are so sick of polished commercials. They want the real, they want to know what it's going to be like to work with you. Client generated content. I have an example of this towards the end, but this is the same concept of going out and getting Google reviews. If somebody sends you a text message and says, Kelly, you made this transaction amazing, thank you so much, take a screenshot, block their name out, and post that, because that is the best referral that you can get, is client generated content, real things from people that you didn't send them a link and say, hey, do you mind posting on my Google business? That's a real raw moment of feedback in action. Collaborate with influencers or colleagues within your niche. So if there's somebody that you respect, tell them you respect them and ask if you can go live together. Leverage other people's audiences to grow yours. Same exact concept as going to a networking event held by somebody that you want to be in the room with. It's the same exact thing. Take that and apply it in internet world. And that's what it's like when you leverage other people's audience. And then number 10, assess your analytics and pivot regularly. So the good news is you don't have to be a rocket scientist to track your social media analytics. There's a million different ways you can go about it. You can go to like Meta Business Center if you're more focused on Facebook. You can just do it directly in your Instagram app. And my strategy is as simple as, when I'm in the green, I keep posting the same things. When I'm in the red, which means I'm losing engagement, I'm losing followers, I pivot and try a different type of post until I'm in the green again, when my engagement is up and when my followers are up. So those are my 10 tactical tips. Does anybody have questions on those? Okay, here's those examples. So I should have put this slide second to this one. I'll start with this one. This is my moment of vulnerability. This was only like a year ago on the left, the before, and I was all over the place. Here I'm telling you, marketing does not equal putting a sign in the yard. I'm not saying anything about seniors, even though I love working with seniors. Here, who knows what I'm doing? It's just a picture of me on a laptop. There's no words. How is it supposed to catch anybody's attention? I don't know, but I tried it and it didn't work. And so the highest engagement I have is 2,900 on this crazy reel where I did a dance in my office. I felt mortified. I was probably sweating profusely through that sweater, because who wants to dance around on a screen? But it says, here's why you need an OT realtor. And that was my first oh, people care about why I'm different. 2,900 people viewed this. Then I pivoted a year later, and over here on the right-hand side, I only talked about this one avatar and niche, and you can see numbers like 319,000, 17, almost 18,000, 42,000, 3,500. I'm literally banging a drum on my mom's kitchen counter, talking about getting a text from a downsizer that told me their new home brings them so much joy. Down here, I'm looking at ranch homes that are set off of the street. It got 56,000 views, and it is a super long caption. So I'm telling you why something like this is great for a true forever home because you can modify it affordably. So the point being, all of these are targeted towards my one avatar, the 30 to 40-year-old firstborn daughter that is going to help her parents downsize. Over here on the left, I was a hot mess. It looked pretty, had some professional photos, but there was no strategy at all. So that's just to show you that it actually worked. And I gotta move my face again. So it's interesting. People will ask, what percent, track where your business comes from. Over the last 12 months, 100% of my business has either come from this specific niche or an SOI referral. So it's really hard for me to take them apart. But I use my Instagram as my database, and it all is tied together. So I'm just going to keep on doing it until it doesn't work anymore. But I've stopped going to BNI. I've stopped going to networking groups that make you want to poke your eyes out. I'm just doing Instagram marketing and meeting with people in person. And then here's that an example of content, client-driven content. So these are all real screenshots from conversations I've been in, and I post it and show, look how great it is. And these are Instagram, like, nice to meet you. I love your content. Thank you so much. Would you want to do a podcast on accessibility? Actually, through this person here, I got an introduction to Bigger Pockets, and I get to be on the Bigger Pockets podcast about accessibility and serving seniors in a couple of weeks, which I'm super excited about. Oh no, that was this one here, Bigger Pockets introduction from an OT who I was on her podcast. So these are examples of leveraging other people's audience, talking about your one thing, because then you get followers from other people's sphere. Here's an example of a gal who is also an occupational therapist who pivoted into real estate, and she asked me for permission to copy one of my posts. One, so reputable that she asked. A ton of people don't. I said, absolutely, go out and make it your own. She made it her own. She had never posted anything in her very first post. She got 690 views. I looked at it before this call. She's up to 800. Don't you think if you could get in front of 800 people daily, you don't have to be a mega influencer, but having a clear message in front of your database 800 times a week, that's really great. And then this is the mortgage lender I told you about. I gave him a real prompt and told him to stop posting ridiculousness that was like closed another home, but to tell us a story. And he was so excited. He sent me the screenshot and said, I'm up to 822 plays. So again, we see results without being mega influencers. And that's what excites me. Any questions, I think? Oh, the best part. We all have limiting beliefs about niching down. I did for the longest time. How the heck will I get my best friend from high school buying her move up home if I'm only talking to seniors and downsizers? This is an example of a referral I got recently. This woman's husband actually is a bilateral amputee from the Iraq War, young guy, and she loves the accessibility, but referred me her first time home buyer son who doesn't have any accessibility needs. So don't worry about not getting the client. When somebody sees you as an expert and you build that trust, they're going to want to work with you regardless. And then, of course, I always bring value to a party. My mom tells me never come to a party empty-handed, and it would be super selfish if I didn't share all the things I know, because selling is sharing. I have a masterclass coming up. We have 5 people signed up for it, so it's going to be super intimate, and we are launching on September 3rd, right after the holiday. If you want a way to boost your Q4 going into next year, it's going to be an 8-week class that is how to implement all of these things. So I told you the why. We're going to go super deep on the how. It's going to include 8 live coaching calls and then one-on-one pre and post calls, so I can tailor the content to your goals. And I'm going to drop a link in the chat if anybody's interested in that. I gave you a code VIP where you can get it 50% off today. And then I think that's it. Oh, the giveaway. Let me see if anybody did what I told them. And dun, da, da, da. I am not connected to internet on my phone because I didn't want my computer to melt down. I have six messages, but they're not loading. So I'll tag you for whoever won. Now you can ask me anything you want question-wise, and I will stop sharing. And there we go.
You want to ask questions, raise your hand or put them in the chat.
And then there's the link to the class if you want to read about it.
Thank you, Gretchen.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
I know we are slightly over time, so there are probably people moving to the next thing. Any questions for Gretchen? Gretchen, thank you so much for sharing with us today. Our next regional rally is September 16th, and we will put Gretchen's info in the chat if you want to email her a question. Thank you so much for your share. We appreciate it. Thank you all for being on the regional rally today. Take care.